Hey warriors! Have you ever noticed how small things completely hijack your entire day? Someone says one careless word and suddenly your mood is gone, your energy is gone, your peace is gone, and for the rest of the day you're carrying something that didn't even deserve your attention in the first place. Think about it for a second. A message you didn't expect, a delay, a disrespect, a plan that didn't go your way, and just like that your mind is no longer yours. It's like something outside of you reached in, pressed a button, and now you're reacting without even thinking. If that sounds familiar, then listen carefully, because what I'm about to say might be uncomfortable, but it's the truth most people avoid. Right now, you are walking through life with your emotional gates completely wide open. Anyone can enter, anything can shake you, any situation can control how you feel, how you think, and how you act. And the worst part is that most people think this is normal. But it's not. It's a weakness that has been normalized. And the world quietly benefits from it. The media feeds on your fear, algorithms push what angers you, people test your reactions, and every time you react without control, you lose a little more authority over your own life. You don't notice it, but slowly, you become predictable. Easy to provoke, easy to manipulate, or easy to control. And that is exactly why most people never reach a place of real peace. Not because life is too hard, but because their mind is too exposed. Now here's where things change. Because thousands of years ago, long before distractions, long before social media, long before this chaotic world we live in, there were men who studied this exact problem. Men who understood something most people today still don't understand. That real power is not about controlling the world. It's about controlling yourself within it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And that right there is the foundation of everything you're about to hear. Because what if I told you that you don't need a perfect life to feel at peace? You don't need people to behave better, you don't need things to go your way, you don't need validation, approval, or control over every situation. What you need is mastery over your internal state. And once you build that, something powerful happens. You become untouchable. Not in a physical sense, but emotionally. People will try to provoke you, but they will fail. Situations will try to shake you, but will fail. Life will throw chaos at you, and you will remain grounded. Calm, focused, in control. That's not theory, that's a skill. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through 9 Stoic habits that will completely change how you respond to the world. Not how you feel, but how you handle what you feel. Because this is not about becoming cold or emotionless. This is about becoming dangerous with your calm. This is about learning how to feel everything, without letting anything control you. And I'm not just saying this from a place of theory. There was a time where the smallest things used to throw me off completely. One bad moment would ruin my entire day, sometimes even my week. I would replay conversations in my head, react too fast. Say things I didn't mean, feel things deeper than necessary, and give people access to my peace without even realizing it. Until I started applying these principles. Slowly, things changed. Not overnight, but consistently. I stopped reacting the same way. I stopped giving everything my energy. I stopped letting temporary situations create permanent damage in my mind. And that's exactly what I want for you. But listen, this only works if you stay with me till the end. Because each habit builds on the next. Miss one, and you weaken the entire structure. So don't skip, don't jump ahead. If you're serious about becoming emotionally unshakable, then stay locked in. And before we go further, I want you to do something simple but powerful. If you're tired of being controlled by things you can't control, hit that subscribe button right now. Not later, now. Because this channel, Stoic Quiet Strength, is not for passive listeners. It's for people who are ready to take ownership of their mind. Also, I want you to drop this in the comments, word for word. I control what controls me. That one sentence is where your transformation starts. Now let's begin. Number 1, the discipline of the sacred pause. Most people don't lose control because they are weak. They lose control because they react too fast. Everything happens in a split second. Something triggers you, and before you even think, you respond. You speak, you act, you react. And in that tiny moment, your emotions take over. That's where the damage happens. Because once you react emotionally, you give away your power. But here's what separates someone who is controlled from someone who is in control. Gap. That small space between what happens and how you respond. That space is where your power lives. Epictetus said it best. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. But most people never even see that space. Because they've trained themselves to react instantly. Someone disrespects you, you fire back. Bad news comes in, you panic. Something goes wrong, you get frustrated. It's automatic. And that's exactly why you need to break that pattern. You need to train yourself to pause. Not for long, even just a few seconds. But those few seconds change everything. When something triggers you, don't respond immediately. Don't speak, don't act, don't type that message. Pause. Take a slow breath. Let the emotion rise, but don't follow it. Observe it. Feel it, but don't become it. Because in that moment, you are deciding who is in control. The emotion, or you. At first it will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will push you to react. It will tell you to defend yourself, to respond, to do something. But that's exactly why this works. Because every time you resist that urge, you take your power back. You stretch that tiny moment into something intentional. And over time, that pause becomes your default. People will expect reactions from you, and you'll give them silence. Situations will try to rush you, and you'll move with calm. You will no longer be predictable. And that is where control begins. Let me ask you something. How many times have you said something in anger, and later wished you didn't? How many times have you reacted quickly, and created a bigger problem than necessary? That's what the absence of pause does. It turns temporary emotions into permanent consequences. But when you master this habit, everything changes. You stop giving cheap reactions. You stop letting small things control big parts of your life. You become selective. And your reaction becomes valuable. So from today, practice this. The next time something triggers you, don't react immediately. Pause. Even if it feels unnatural. Because that pause is the beginning of emotional mastery. And trust me, it only gets deeper from here. Because once you learn how to control your reaction, the next step is understanding what you're reacting to in the first place. Number 2, divorce your ego from the event. Most of the pain you feel in your life is not coming from what actually happened. It's coming from the meaning you attach to it. And most of that meaning is created by your ego. Someone ignores you, and suddenly your mind says, they don't respect me. A relationship ends, and your mind says, I'm not enough. A plan fails, and your mind says, I'm a failure. But if you slow down and really look at it, those are not facts. Those are stories. Stories your ego creates to protect itself, but in the process, it destroys your peace. This is where most people lose control without even realizing it. Because they're not reacting to reality. They're reacting to their interpretation of reality. And that interpretation is often exaggerated, emotional, and completely distorted. Seneca said something powerful. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Think about that. How many times have you suffered? Not because of what happened, but because of what you told yourself about what happened. That's the ego at work. Always trying to make everything personal. Always trying to protect an identity that doesn't need protecting. But here's what emotionally untouchable people understand. Not everything is about you. Someone's bad attitude is not a reflection of your worth. Someone's rejection is not a measure of your value. Someone's opinion is not a definition of who you are. It is just an event. Neutral, until you give it meaning. And the moment you stop attaching your identity to every situation, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. This is what it means to become objective. To see things as they are, not as your ego wants them to be. Instead of saying, "This is embarrassing," you say, "This happened." Instead of saying, "This ruined everything," you say, "This is a challenge." Instead of saying, "They disrespected me," you say, "They acted out of their own state." Simple shift, powerful result. Because now, you are no longer emotionally tied to every situation. You become a witness, not a victim. You observe instead of absorbing. And that changes everything. But let's be real for a moment. This is not easy. Your ego has been running your reactions for years. It will fight back. It will try to pull you into emotional stories again. But every time you catch it, every time you separate yourself from the narrative, you weaken its control. And over time, something powerful happens. You stop taking things personally. You stop overreacting. You stop carrying emotional weight that was never yours to carry. Let me give you a real-life example. Imagine someone speaks to you in a rude way. Most people immediately feel attacked. They respond with anger, or they carry that feeling for hours. But someone with control pauses, and sees it differently. They ask, "What's really happening here?" Maybe that person is stressed, maybe they're frustrated, maybe they're dealing with something that has nothing to do with you. And just like that, the emotional charge disappears. Same situation, completely different outcome. That's the power of removing ego. You stop turning every moment into a personal attack. And you start seeing reality clearly. So from now on, practice this. The next time something happens, don't immediately attach meaning to it. Strip it down to the facts. Observe it without adding a story. Because the less meaning you attach, the less power it has over you. And when you combine this with the pause you learned earlier, you become very hard to shake. Now here's the next level. Because even if you master your reactions and detach your ego, there's still something that can quietly influence your emotional state. And most people completely ignore it. Number 3, erect borders against emotional contagion. Whether you realize it or not, emotions are contagious. You don't have to feel something for it to affect you. All it takes is being around it long enough. Spend time with someone who complains constantly, and watch how your own mindset starts to shift. Be around people who are always anxious, and suddenly you feel uneasy for no clear reason. Listen to gossip, negativity, drama. And slowly it becomes part of your mental environment. This is how emotional states spread. Quietly, consistently, and without permission. And the dangerous part is, it doesn't feel obvious at first. You don't notice it immediately. But over time, your baseline changes. You become more reactive, more negative, more drained. And then you wonder why you feel the way you feel. This is why emotionally strong people are extremely protective of their environment. They don't just control their thoughts. They control what influences their thoughts. They pay attention to how people make them feel. They notice patterns. After certain conversations, do you feel energized or drained? After being around certain people, do you feel calm or agitated? Those signals matter. Because your environment is shaping your emotional state whether you like it or not. So what do? You have to set boundaries. Not aggressively, not emotionally, but intentionally. You don't have to argue with negative people. You don't have to confront everyone. Sometimes the strongest move is simply creating distance. Changing the subject. Excusing yourself. Limiting access. Because not everyone deserves access to your mental space. And this is something most people struggle with. They feel guilty for protecting their energy. They think setting boundaries means being rude. But it doesn't. It means being responsible. Because if you don't protect your mind, someone else will influence it. And not always in a way that benefits you. Let me ask you something. How many times have you left a conversation feeling worse than before? How many times have you absorbed someone else's negativity and carried it with you? Those are emotional contagions. And if you don't stop it, it will slowly shape your mindset. But when you become aware of it, and you start filtering what you allow in, your entire emotional baseline begins to rise. You feel lighter, calmer, more in control. Not because life changed, but because your environment did. So from today, pay attention. Audit your circle. Notice who brings peace, and who brings chaos. And make adjustments. Because emotional mastery is not just about what happens inside you. It's also about what you allow around you. And once you clean your environment, you create the space needed for real control to grow. Now we go deeper. Because even if you master your reactions, your ego, and your environment, there is still one silent trap that creates frustration over and over again. And most people never question it. Number 4, the daily surrender of expectations. Most of your frustration, most of your disappointment, most of the emotional weight you carry day to day, comes from one simple thing. Expectations. Not reality, expectations. You expect people to act a certain way. You expect plans to go smoothly. You expect your effort to be rewarded immediately. You expect fairness, consistency, understanding. And every time life doesn't meet those expectations, you feel it. That irritation, that disappointment. That silent frustration. But here's the truth most people never accept. Life is not designed to meet your expectations. It never was. The moment you expect reality to follow your script, you set yourself up for emotional instability. Because reality is unpredictable. People are inconsistent. Situations change without warning. And if your peace depends on everything going the way you want, you will always be at the mercy of things you can't control. This is where Stoic discipline changes everything. Instead of expecting things to go your way, you prepare for the fact that they might not. Not in a negative way, but in a realistic way. You wake up and remind yourself. Today, people might disappoint me. Plans might fall apart. Things might not go as expected. Not to make yourself anxious, but to remove the element of surprise. Because frustration is often just unprepared reality. Marcus Aurelius practiced this every day. He would remind himself before stepping out that he would meet difficult people, selfish people, ungrateful people. And because he expected it, it didn't shake him when it happened. That's the difference. When you expect perfection, reality feels like an attack. When you accept imperfection, reality feels normal. And your mind stays stable. Let's make this real. You're stuck in traffic. If you expected a smooth journey, you get frustrated. But if you already accepted that delays are part of life, you stay calm. Same situation, different expectation, different emotional outcome. Or maybe someone lets you down. If you expected loyalty at all times, you feel hurt. But if you understand that people are human, flawed, inconsistent, you process it without losing yourself. This doesn't mean you accept bad behavior. It means you stop being shocked by it. And that alone protects your peace. Because now you are not reacting emotionally every time reality behaves like reality. You become adaptable, flexible, and grounded. You stop arguing with how things are, and start moving with it. And when you stop resisting reality, something powerful happens. You save energy. So much energy. Because you're no longer wasting it on frustration that changes nothing. Instead, you use that energy to respond wisely. To adjust. To move forward. So from today, start this simple practice. Every morning remind yourself. Things might not go my way today, and that's okay. People might act out of character, and that's okay. Unexpected things might happen, and I will handle them. That mindset alone will remove a huge amount of emotional disturbance from your life. And when you combine that with everything we've covered so far, you become even more stable. But now, we're about to flip something most people misunderstand completely. Because the next habit is not about avoiding emotions. It's about using them. Number 5, weaponize your dark emotions. Most people are afraid of their negative emotions. They run from them. They distract themselves from them. They try to suppress them. Anger, sadness, frustration, anxiety. They see these as problems. But what if I told you, these emotions are not the enemy? They are energy. Raw, powerful, and unfiltered energy. And the problem is not that you feel them. The problem is how you use them. A weak mind is controlled by these emotions. It lashes out in anger. It shuts down in sadness. It panics in anxiety. It wastes that energy in destructive ways. But a disciplined mind does something different. It captures that energy and redirects it. It uses it. That's what makes the difference. Let's take anger for example. Anger is one of the most powerful emotions you can feel. It gives you intensity, focus, drive. But if you let it control you, it destroys relationships, decisions, and opportunities. However, if you control it, it becomes fuel. Fuel to improve, to build, to push yourself beyond your limits. Seneca warned about this when he said, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. But when restrained, when directed, it becomes something else entirely, which is strength." The same applies to sadness. Most people try to escape it. But sadness has depth. It slows you down, makes you reflect, makes you think. It can lead to clarity, growth, or creativity if you face it instead of running from it. Even anxiety when controlled, can sharpen your awareness. Make you prepare better. Make you think ahead. Every emotion has potential. But only if you stop seeing it as something to avoid. And start seeing it as something to manage. So the next time you feel something intense, don't run. Pause like you learned earlier. Observe it. Feel it fully, but don't let it take control. Then ask yourself, How can I use this? How can I turn this into something productive? If you feel anger, channel it into work, into discipline, into improvement. If you feel sadness, use it to reflect, to understand yourself better. If you feel frustration, use it to fix what's within your control. That shift alone changes everything. Because now, nothing you feel is wasted. Every emotion becomes a tool. Every experience becomes fuel. And suddenly, the world loses its ability to harm you emotionally. Because even when things go wrong, you turn it into something that makes you stronger. Now think about that for a moment. What if every negative emotion you felt actually moved your life forward instead of holding you back? That's what this habit does. It transforms your relationship with your emotions completely. And once you reach that level, you stop fearing how you feel. You start using it. But even with all this, there is still one invisible trap that drains your energy more than anything else. And most people don't even realize they're stuck in it. Number 6, the annihilation of the imaginary future. Let me ask you something honestly. How many times have you stressed over something that never actually happened? You played it in your head, over and over. A conversation that hasn't happened yet. A problem that might happen. A situation you're not even in. And somehow, your body reacts as if it's real. Your chest tightens, your mind races, your energy drops. All because of something that exists only in your imagination. That's what anxiety really is. It's not the future itself. It's your mind creating a version of the future, and you believing it. And the dangerous part is, your brain doesn't fully distinguish between imagination and reality. So when you imagine worst-case scenarios, your body responds like it's happening now. That's why it feels so real. That's why it drains you. And that's why most people walk around exhausted, not because of what they're going through, but because of what they're thinking about. Seneca said it clearly. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. And once you truly understand that, you start to see anxiety differently. You realize you are fighting battles that don't exist. You are reacting to ghosts. And every time you do that, you waste emotional energy that you could have used for real situations. This is why Stoic discipline focuses on one thing. The present. Not the past, not the future, the present. Because this moment, right now, is the only place where anything real is happening. And most of the time, when you bring your awareness back to this moment, you realize something simple. There is no immediate danger. Right now, you're breathing. Right now, you're here. Right now, nothing is attacking you. But your mind keeps pulling you into a future that hasn't arrived. So how do you stop this? You anchor yourself. When your thoughts start racing, when your mind starts creating scenarios, you pull yourself back. Not gently, but deliberately. Focus on your breath. Feel the air as it enters and leaves your body. Look around you. Notice what is actually in front of you. Ask yourself a simple question. Is there a real problem happening right now, in this exact moment? Most of the time, the answer is no. And just like that, the intensity drops. Because you've removed yourself from the illusion. This takes practice. Your mind will wander again. It will try to pull you back into those imaginary situations. But every time you bring it back, you strengthen your control. You train your mind to stay where your life actually is, which is in the present. And when you do that consistently, something powerful happens. You stop draining yourself emotionally. You stop overthinking every possible outcome. You stop living in fear of things that may never happen. Instead, you become clear, focused, and calm. You deal with problems when they arrive, not before. And that alone gives you a level of mental clarity most people never experience. Let me tell you something important. The future is not the enemy. But living in it before it happens is the enemy. Because it takes you away from the only moment where you have control. Which is right now. So from today, practice this. Whenever your mind starts creating those scenarios, catch it. Pull it back. Anchor yourself in what is real. Because the more you stay present, the less power anxiety has over you. And when you combine that with everything we've built so far, your mind becomes even harder to disturb. But now, we go deeper. Because even if you master your reactions, your ego, your environment, your expectations, your emotions, and your thoughts, there is still one dependency that can quietly control your emotional state. And most people build their entire life around it without realizing. Number 7, master the art of internal validation. Most people don't control how they feel because they've handed the control to other people. They depend on praise to feel good. They depend on recognition to feel valuable. They depend on approval to feel confident. And on the surface, it seems normal. But look deeper, and you'll see the problem. If someone else can make you feel good, they can also make you feel bad. If a compliment lifts you, an insult can break you. If approval builds you, rejection can destroy you. That's the trade-off. And most people accept it without question. They live their lives like a reflection of other people's opinions. Up when praised, down when criticized. Constantly shifting. Never stable. But emotionally untouchable people don't operate like that. They don't rely on external validation. They create it internally. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Think about that. It means you stop living for approval. You stop needing others to confirm your worth. Because you already know it. You build your own standard. You ask yourself simple questions. Did I act with discipline today? Did I stay true to my values? Did I do what I said I would do? If the answer is yes, that's enough. Not applause, not recognition, not validation. Just your own standard. And when you live like that, something powerful happens. You become stable. Criticism doesn't shake you. Because it doesn't define you. Praise doesn't control you. Because you don't depend on it. You become self-contained. Your confidence, your peace, your sense of worth, comes from within. Not from the outside world. And that's what makes you untouchable. Because now, no one has the power to control how you feel about yourself. Let me ask you something. How many decisions have you made just to please others? How many times have you felt down because someone didn't acknowledge you? How many times have you questioned yourself because of someone else's opinion? That's what external validation does. It puts your emotional state in someone else's hands. But when you take that back, everything changes. You move differently. You think differently. You carry yourself differently. Because now, you are not seeking approval. You are operating from self-respect. So from today, start building that. Set your own standards. Measure yourself against them. And slowly, detach from the need for external validation. Because the less you depend on it, the stronger you become. And once you reach that level, you are no longer easily influenced. But there is still one thing most people avoid, even when they have everything else in place. And it quietly weakens their control. Number 8, the practice of voluntary stillness. Most people are not afraid of noise. They are afraid of silence. Because silence forces you to face something most people spend their entire lives avoiding, which is themselves. Think about it. The moment you feel bored, uncomfortable, slightly uneasy, what do? You reach for your phone, right? You scroll, you watch, you listen, you distract. Not because you need information, but because you don't want to sit with your own thoughts. And over time, this becomes a habit. A constant escape. You train your mind to avoid stillness at all costs. And because of that, you never truly understand what's happening inside you. You never sit long enough to observe your thoughts, your patterns, your emotions, your fears. So they stay there, unprocessed, quietly influencing how you think, how you react, how you feel. And that's dangerous. Because anything you don't face controls you. This is why Stoic discipline includes something most people ignore. Stillness. Not forced, not accidental, but intentional. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." But most people never go there because it feels uncomfortable at first. When you sit in silence, your mind gets loud. Thoughts you've been avoiding start to surface. Memories, worries, insecurities. And your first instinct will be to escape. To reach for distraction again. But this is where the growth happens. Because when you stay, when you sit with it, without running, something begins to change. Those thoughts lose their intensity. Those emotions lose their grip. Because you are no longer avoiding them. You are observing them. And when you observe something without reacting to it, it loses power over you. That's the purpose of stillness. Not to feel perfect, but to understand yourself. To become familiar with your own mind. So that nothing inside you feels foreign or overwhelming. Let's make this practical. Every day, take just 10 minutes. No phone. No music. No distractions. Sit and let your thoughts come. Don't try to control them. Don't judge them. Just observe. At first, it will feel strange. Your mind will wander. You'll feel the urge to stop. But stay. Because every second you stay, you build control. You build awareness. You build familiarity with your own mind. And over time, something powerful happens. You become comfortable with yourself. You no longer need constant distraction. You no longer run from your thoughts. You no longer fear silence. And when you reach that level, external chaos loses its impact. Because your internal world is no longer unstable. You've already faced what's inside. So nothing outside feels overwhelming. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat alone, in complete silence, without reaching for anything? If you can't remember, then this is something you need. Because without stillness, there is no clarity. And without clarity, there is no control. So from today, create that space. Even if it's uncomfortable. Especially if it's uncomfortable. Because that discomfort is where your control is waiting. And once you build that, you become even more grounded. But now, we move to the final habit. The one that ties everything together. The one that gives you perspective over everything you go through. Number 9, act with the end in mind. Most people lose control in the moment. Because the moment feels bigger than it actually is. A small inconvenience feels like a major problem. A short delay feels like a huge setback. A minor disagreement feels like a serious conflict. Why? Because your perspective shrinks. You zoom in too much. And when you zoom in, everything looks bigger. More important, more emotional, more intense. But emotionally untouchable people do the opposite. They zoom out. They step back and look at the bigger picture. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of this, to view things from above, to see how small most problems really are in the grand scheme of life. So when something happens, instead of reacting immediately, you ask yourself, will this matter in a week? Will this matter in a month? Will this matter in a year? And most of the time, the answer is no. That argument, that delay, that mistake, that inconvenience. It feels big now. But in the context of your entire life, it's nothing. And when you realize that, something shifts. You stop wasting emotional energy on things that don't deserve it. You stop reacting to every small disturbance. You become selective. You reserve your energy for what truly matters. Your growth. Your purpose. Your peace. Let's make this real. Someone says something that annoys you. Instead of reacting, you zoom out. Will this matter in a year? No. So you let it go. A plan doesn't work out. Instead of getting frustrated, you zoom out. Will this define your life? No. So you adjust and move forward. This habit alone eliminates so much unnecessary stress. Because you stop treating temporary moments like permanent problems. You see things clearly. You respond wisely. And you stay grounded. Because your perspective is bigger than the situation. And when you combine this with everything we've covered, you reach a level of emotional control that most people never experience. You are no longer reacting blindly. You are responding with awareness. With intention. With discipline. And that's what makes you untouchable. Now listen carefully. Because this is where everything comes together. Emotional control is not something you are born with. It's something you build. Every day. With every decision. With every reaction you choose not to give. With every thought you choose not to follow. With every emotion you choose to understand instead of obey. These 9 habits are not just ideas. They are tools. Blueprints. But a blueprint means nothing if you don't use it. You have to practice this. You have to apply it. You have to choose control over and over again. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because on the other side of that effort is a version of you that most people never become. A version of you that walks into any situation and remains calm. A version of you that doesn't get shaken easily. A version of you that doesn't react to everything. A version of you that is grounded, focused, in control. You stop being at the mercy of the world. And you start operating on your own terms. You become someone people cannot easily disturb. Someone who doesn't break under pressure. Someone who carries quiet strength. And if you've made it this far, then you're not like most people. Because most people don't stay this long. Most people don't want to do the work. But you're still here. Which means something. It means you're ready for more. So do this now. Hit the like button, not just for the video, but as a commitment to yourself. Subscribe to Stoic Quiet Strength, so you don't fall back into old patterns. And most importantly, go to the comments and write this. I command my mind. I control my life. Make it real. Because the moment you start declaring it, you start living it. Share this with someone who needs it. Because someone around you is struggling silently. And this might be exactly what they need. Stay grounded. Stay disciplined. Guard your mind like it's your greatest asset. Because it is. And if you're ready to go deeper, there's a full playlist in the description that will help you build this step by step. Don't miss it. I'll see you in the next one.